June 20th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 184 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Mike, some of the things that they tell you when they're teaching you public speaking, or if you're going to be on the radio, is to avoid certain things.
Yes.
Like, and and the little, thing you do with your and so. Although I like so. I'm going to continue to use so. So we went to the casino. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever makes you happy, Mark. You do whatever makes you happy.
Well, when I edit the show, I try to edit out those things, the pauses, all sorts of things. But one thing that you and I say so much is it's funny. I can't tell you how many times we start a sentence. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's funny we say that.
And it's usually not funny.
Yeah. Well, we mean funny in the...
Oh, I know, like strange or odd or something, but
way.
we say it so much. It should be a drinking game. I was thinking maybe people could take a drink anytime we say something stupid, but that way they'd get like blackout drunk.
Right.
So instead, they should just take a shot anytime they hear us say it's funny.
Mark, now, honestly, when do you think people most listen to our show?
Probably in the car.
In the car when they're driving, exactly. Should they be taking a shot
no,
every time we say it's funny?
I guess not. No, we'll have to come up with something else.
No, what they should do is listen to the show at home with their children while they're, Saturday night, and then just take a shot every time.
With their children. So if something goes wrong, the kids are there to help out.
Yeah, the kids are there to call 911.
All right, that makes sense. Well, Mike, you've got like a ton of stories. Is that right?
I do have some stories. I have trip reports, Mark.
Okay, I'm throwing it over to you then.
Well, first of all, and this involves you, we went out last Friday to Harris, and listener John from the UK came, and we had a great time with him.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Yeah, super nice guy, and we had fun playing and hanging out with him.
That's right, and later we had something to eat. I think he had the Cardiff crack at the restaurant, and he said that was very good.
Yeah,
yes.
he said the best crack he's ever had.
Nice.
So anyway, John came up to the table and was talking to us, and he started to play. And then this guy, whose name was Howard,
yes,
we didn't know him before, but he just happened to be standing next to me. He got the dice and had a monster roll.
It was so great. Plus, it was only the second shooter of the night for us.
We had won on the first shooter, which was a good roll, but his roll was unbelievably good. So all of a sudden, we're up a ton.
Right at the beginning of the night. I love that. Then you're not stressing the whole rest of the night. You're having a good time.
He was making points like crazy and hard ways. And I mean, it was just like perfect timing on the come out. He'd rolled like 4 sevens or something ridiculous. Yeah. And then, make a point. And oh gosh, it was such a great roll. He was a super nice guy.
Very nice.
And, I tipped him well at the end. So I think he was happy, but I appreciated his great roll. I just wanted to mention that. It was now, unfortunately, the table cooled down a little bit, and we were still up quite a bit, a lot. And we decided, well, we'll go to this other table that had just opened, a $25 table, because we were playing on a 15. It was the only one open when we got there. And that did not go so well over there.
No.
Now, we still came home winners.
I was proud of you for walking away, because after we ate, I thought, oh, Mike's going to want to go back to the table. But no,
I wanted to go home and win.
That was great.
Because there's nothing worse than being up a ton.
Yes.
And then going home losing.
Yes, because you were up a ton.
And I don't mind going home with a good, nice win. I mean, it could have been 4 times as much, but, at least it was a good, nice win.
Yeah.
So that was my Friday story.
Yes.
Now I have a story from Monday that doesn't really involve me. This last Monday, a couple days ago.
Okay.
There was a table open. There were 2 tables open Monday night.
At Harris? You heard this story, apparently.
I was told this story by a dealer.
Okay.
But it was Jimmy. You know Jimmy, one of the regulars out there.
I probably would recognize him, yeah.
You definitely wouldn't recognize him. Anyway, he was on the table with a guy who nobody knew, just probably an out-of-towner. The guy got the dice, ended up rolling 6 to the fire.
Nice.
But rolled for like an hour and a half. Just the 2 of them.
Oh,
so
really?
You see how fast that's going, right?
Wow.
So Jimmy had 5 on the fire. The guy had nothing on the fire. And the dealers had $1.
Right.
Bottom line was, from what the dealers told me, Jimmy won $42,000
Nice.
on that roll. Because
Nice.
imagine an hour and a half with two people, how fast that's going.
Oh my gosh.
And the other guy, he was there last night when I was, and he was not betting a lot.
Okay.
So he probably was doing the same on Monday. We were talking about it, and he said, oh yeah, I'm the guy that rolled that. And, we didn't know him. Funny thing, and he tipped him $2,000. And the guy told me, he said at the end of the roll, he felt so bad that he won all this money and the fire, and I didn't have anything, so he tipped me $2,000.
Oh, nice.
That is a nice tip.
That's a big tip.
That is a nice tip. Jimmy, you're the man.
You got something to shoot for, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, I know. I've never tipped $2,000 to one person. Well, dealers I have.
No,
over.
No. I won't even count that because you've never taken $2,000 out of your rack and given it to them. You've won bets for them that have paid $2,000 or more,
right?
But you haven't just given them $2,000.
Okay, that's true. All right. So I got to at some point take $2,000 out of my pocket and give it to them. Okay. All right, that's what I'm shooting for. That's my new goal. So then I went last night. That's where I heard the story. I was at the table and I'm playing with the usual crowd, Phil standing next to me and a few other people. And there's a guy on the other end. And I looked at him, I'm like, he looks familiar, but I really couldn't place him.
Okay.
And I turned to Phil and I said, do you know who that is? And he said, no. And I said, yeah, he must have been here before. I must have seen him here before, a younger guy. Anyway, the table was choppy. It was up and down, up and down. Finally, the young guy left his spot over there and came down next to me. And he said something to us and we were just chatting. And then he looks at me and he says, are you Dr. Mike? And I'm like, yeah, he recognized my voice. Anyway, it's Jeremy from Salt Lake City who's called in several times.
Yeah, and I've been emailing him back and forth, kind of a math problem we've been doing.
Right,
so, yeah.
Right. Anyway, it was so funny. And so, he was real excited. I was excited. I was glad he showed up because he was a super nice guy and it made my night. It was way more funner
yeah.
to have him there to play.
Good.
And then at one point I said, oh, this is Jeremy Phil. Introduced him and he's like, oh, you're Firebet Phil.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, that was really good.
Phil must have loved that.
Right. And so when Phil got the dice at one point, the point was 4. And Jeremy turned to Phil and said, Phil, if you make this 4, I'll do 10 push-ups. And a couple of rolls later, Phil made the 4. Jeremy hopped right down on the floor.
Yeah.
Right there,
Right there on that new carpet?
Right there on that new carpet, did 10 push-ups and good ones.
Yeah,
they're not like the kind I would do.
On your knees.
Yeah. And I said, Phil, if you make another point, I'll eat 2 candy bars. That's my challenge to myself. I'll eat 2 candy bars.
Yeah. So what's the end of the story?
Well, the end of the story is he didn't make another point, so I didn't have to eat any candy.
Oh, thank goodness.
Which, yeah, I was really disappointed, and I'm not joking about that. But anyway, the night, it was so choppy, and it was up and down, and finally, it was getting late, and I'm like, I got to get going, and Jeremy's like, oh, he was all in on a roll, and the guy had a pretty decent roll, but then the next shooter was an immediate out, and so he lost all of his money and he said, I'm going to bed. And I hate to even mention this, Jeremy. So when you're driving back to Salt Lake, he said he was going to listen driving back.
Yeah.
You'll hear this story and, just.
So should he fast forward right now and go past this next bit?
You might want to go past this or just breathe really slowly the whole time. Before Jeremy left, a guy came up on the other end of the table and he was a real piece of work.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I don't know if he was drunk or whatever. The pit boss had to remind him many times to stop the cussing. I mean, he was a little outrageous.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jeremy left, another guy shot, and then this guy got the dice. And sure enough, he had a monster roll. Jeremy, I got all my money back and ended up winning for the night. Mm-hmm. He repeated so many numbers. It was crazy. But he came out on a point of 4. 4 seemed to be the big number last night. Mm-hmm. The roller had $400 line bet with $1,200 odds.
Oh, wow.
He rolled for a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes, never made the point. And he's so drunk and he kept saying, come on, I'm rolling every number. He made no other bets.
Nothing else. So all he had was the money on the
All he had
phone.
was that money on the line, and he never made that 4 the whole time he rolled. And we all won so much money, and everyone's just kind of laughing because he kept complaining about how he wasn't winning any money. Anyway, the funniest thing, I've never seen somebody have such a great roll and win 0.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. I mean, usually the guy, I didn't win much, but they're not betting much. Mm-hmm. He had all this money, put it all on the line, never made the 4. So I don't know if that makes Jeremy feel any better, but oh God, I wish you had stayed. You missed such a good roll.
That's too bad.
Anyway, drive carefully.
Yes. Think of your family.
You're right. Exactly. So that's my story for the week so far.
Okay, good.
And then, of course, we'll head out this weekend.
We're going this weekend. And on the last episode also, we talked about how we're going to be out there on Saturday, June 29th.
Right.
To let people know. But we also want to let people know, one of the pit bosses out there told us that it's going to be their busiest day of the year.
Right.
They do this the last Saturday of June, and they also do it on New Year's Eve. And he said this is bigger than New Year's Eve.
Right.
They give away $100,000 every hour for 10 hours. So if you do
$100,000 cash.
Yes. If you want to come out and see us, keep in mind it's going to be hard to get on a table, and the minimums are probably going to be pretty high.
They're probably going to be high.
Yeah. But if you want to risk it, come out and see.
Well,
we don't want to discourage people, but that's what you'll be in for.
It's nice that it's crowded, though. I kind of like it when there's a lot of excitement and stuff. Although I don't know, my dad claims that the machines never pay when there's
they set them different. Yeah. Well, listener Donald contacted us. He basically wanted to know what our pressing strategies are when we're at the table. And I thought we'd talk about that just a little bit because we have different opinions about, when to press, how to press. Bottom line is you should never press, just like you should never play the game because it's negative EV.
Right.
But of course we don't do that. We're playing it for a reason. I'll go first. And this is kind of what Donald was saying too. I generally don't like to press until I've at least made my money back on a shooter.
That's always a good policy.
Right. So I don't press right away. Sure, you can't take advantage of a big roll if it's coming right away. But usually I'll do that. Or if I'm down a little bit, I'll wait until I'm up. I've got at least my buy-in on the table. Or if I'm down quite a bit, maybe I'll wait until the shooter has made my money back twice on him, everything that I've put out on him. And then after that, I just press maybe one unit. I'll go, $30, 6 1/8, then 60, then 90, and gradually work my way up. So that's my way of doing it.
I'm laughing because,
I see you laughing,
mine is so different.
All right, let's hear from you now.
Well, mine basically involves where I'm at with my buy-in.
Okay, so how the night's going.
So if the night's going well, I just press every number when it hits the first time.
Straight away.
Let's say I put a $60 6. And then I go to 120, and then I go to 150, then I go to 210, then I go to 300, 450, 6, 9, 12,
etc. So if somebody were not betting as much as you, say they only had $6 on the 6 and 8,
right?
Maybe you'd go 6, 12, 18, then straight to 30, maybe,
right?
Something like that.
Something like that, 18 to 30. That'd probably be a good way to do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I do if I'm up and the night's going well. Now, if I'm down a lot, then I usually collect all of my 5 place bets until they've all hit, until I've got my money back for that shooter. And then I go through my pressing cycle again.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I turn to you and say, I'm going to press the first 4 numbers no matter what
he says that a lot, no matter what they are. So if the next 4 are 6, he's pressing that 6 all the way every time. Yeah. And sometimes he reneges on that promise too.
Sometimes,
I've seen that
but not
happen.
that often. I mean, most of the time I follow through if I say, because I don't want you to be rebuffed by you.
But Donald, keep in mind too that this is just what we like to do. There's no good or bad strategy when it comes to pressing. Like I said, it's negative EV. If you catch a hot roll, then it's great that you pressed.
Right.
But, maybe you press and then the next roll's a 7. And if you hadn't pressed, you would have at least collected. So we could go on and on. But this is what we like to do.
What it boils down to is you have to be comfortable with what you're doing. Right. So if it makes you uncomfortable to press thinking, oh my God, if 7 comes up, I've won nothing on this roll, then you probably shouldn't press. Right.
Yep. Yeah. All right. We also got contacted by listener Steven. He actually called us, but he got cut off at the 3-minute mark. And so he ended up sending an email. This is one of the Stevens we met this last time in Vegas. We met, Steven was the name this time. We met a lot of Stevens.
It's usually David.
This time it was Steven. Right. Anyway, I'm just going to paraphrase his story right here. He went to the Four Winds Casino in New Buffalo, Michigan, and he bought in at an empty craps table. And while he was making his initial wagers, putting stuff out there, another gentleman stepped up to the table with cash in his hands. The dealers asked if he was going to buy in, and he shook his head no. So the dice came to Steven, and he came out on a hard 6. Now, at this point, the other gentleman bought in for $1,000. Right there, it's kind of strange, right?
Yeah,
but, why wait for the come-out roll? The dealers asked if he wanted to make any bets, and again, he said no. So it's already straight. He bought in after the come out roll, doesn't want any bets. So as Steven is throwing his next roll, the guy yells out 7. And of course, Steven rolled a 7.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I got to stop right there. What? Okay, this is obviously a don't player.
He has no stake in the game.
Nothing.
He made no bets. What does he care?
He's just a jerk. He's just being a jerk. That's the only reason, right?
Yeah, right.
So Steven is 7'd out. So the guy makes a pass line bet and he's ready to shoot. But as is the case at most crap tables, if a player didn't have any action on the previous shooter, he doesn't have the option of shooting next. Right?
Right.
You have to have action. That's a pretty standard
very
rule.
Very common. You have to be playing.
So the dice went back to Steven. And, of course, the guy gets all angry about that.
Right.
I think we know the personality we're dealing with here. Anyway, the guy bets on the don't against Steven. Don't pass and don't come. Every time, right before Steven threw the dice, this guy would shout 7.
At this point, if I'm a pit boss, I got to step in.
I guess maybe he's got money. Maybe they know him, but I know it's just rude.
It's just rude. It's just like calling someone a name. There's just no
really,
reason for it.
Right. Well, Steven ended up having a great roll. He made 3 points, a couple of hard ways, the all tall. He was only a 4 away from them all. And then when he finally 7'd out, the guy clapped and cheered and said, "Finally."
Oh, God.
So now it was his turn to roll. So this guy bought in for another $500, and Steven decided to play the don't against him. Right? So the guy came out on an 8. Steven took odds on his don't pass, and then he made a don't come bet. Next roll was a 6. So that don't come goes up to a 6. He took odds on that. Next roll was a 2. Oh, he had another don't come out there, so he won that one. 2's a natural. And then next roll was a 10. And he took odds on that. So now Steven has don't bets on the 8, 6, and 10 with full odds. And right before the guy threw the next roll, Steven yells out 7. He hadn't been yelling it before, just on that roll. And the guy 7'd out. Steven clapped and cheered. Even the dealers were laughing. And the guy stormed away from the table fuming. Steven said, and this is just a quote from Steven, he said, "I would normally not do something so petty, but I think he deserved it." Yeah, I'd be tempted to too. How nice can you be when somebody's just in your face like that?
Well, if he has bets out there and if he under his breath said 7, it sounds like the guy was making a big thing about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did it when he had no bets is really crazy.
Yes, that's just a bad person.
He is what my wife would call a jackwipe.
Oh, good.
It's a cross between a jackass and an asswipe.
Oh, okay. Just a jackwipe.
Jackwipe. Okay. You can just, because you can say that in public and people.
That's true. People
just say, he's a jackwipe.
Anyway, I thought that was a great story.
That's one for all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's so satisfying in the end.
I got to give kudos to Steven because you know what would have happened if that was me.
You would have been, saying something to him and the crew probably.
And the crew too. I'd probably have gotten in trouble.
One more. We got an email from listener Jeff. He was recently in Philadelphia for a conference and he had some time to kill before his flight home. So he headed over to Harrah's Philadelphia to play a little bit. So I'm just going to read directly from his email here. When speaking to the pit boss, he was telling us that more play equates to more benefits, which I already knew, but he kept harping on it, which I found odd. After about 30 minutes of this, he tells me he will play catch with your young son and teach your daughter how to ride a bike in front of the casino if your play is strong enough. An obvious joke at first, until the gentleman to my right whispers to me, he's done it a few times.
Nice.
Apparently, the pit boss was a former college baseball player many years ago and does this as a perk for fathers that bring their young children to Harrah's Philadelphia. Apparently, he plays the role of coach/father figure. I was still questioning this as it seemed way too far-fetched. After his shift was over, he shows me a video of him throwing a baseball with a young kid, and the Harrah's signage was in the background. Blew my mind. The weirdest comp/benefit I've seen in my life. Do you two have any stories of weird benefits/comps you've seen?
Well, you can't top that. How could you top that?
I wrote back to Jeff and said, it's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, right. Let me play with your kid.
Yeah, exactly. Strange. Yeah, no, I've never heard anything of that. I can't think of any weird. We never asked for anything weird. That's for sure.
No, I don't know, but that opens up a whole realm of things in my head that we could ask for.
Yeah, I know in the future. Just babysitting. That would
yeah. Could you just go up to the room and sit with us so my wife and I can?
Thanks for that email, Jeff. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Rob.
Hello, Dr. Mike, Mark. My name is Rob. I live in Oklahoma. I've just been tuned into your particular podcast, matter of fact, last night. And after listening to a few of your more recent broadcasts, I've noticed that you've been touching on some of the nuances of our fair state and some of the games and their infamous antes. And I wanted to see if I could add a little bit to it. First of all, I have not frequented any of the casinos in Oklahoma City. I've stuck mainly with Tulsa. So I wanted to touch on how some of the casinos there operate. There's one particular casino that's made news lately called the River Spirit. I believe it's ran by the Muskogee Creek Nation. That particular casino was one that I favorited out of the three that I go to because they actually had a craps table that was ante-free. I think that they actually covered it for the players, so technically money was still going into that pot you discussed, but it was still on the casino's tab, which was awfully nice of them. However, due to the large amounts of storms that have rocked this part of the nation, the reason it's called the River Spirit is because it's right by the Arkansas River, and that particular river has flooded drastically and has flooded the casino. So the River Spirit is closed for an undetermined amount of time. The other two, the Hard Rock and the Osage casinos, well, the Hard Rock does have a craps table, but they do still charge the dollar ante. Admittedly, one benefit is that their particular field bet does include a triple on a 12, whereas the River Spirit does not. That was only a double. However, the Osage does have ye old bubble craps with, as it was discussed before, a $1 minimum and only a double odd, and still no ante. Admittedly, River Spirit also had bubble craps, but it was a $3 minimum. Again, no ante. So as long as that continues to be the status quo, I have a feeling that there are going to be quite a few people flocking to these bubble craps because, like you said, they are a great opportunity for those who don't necessarily want to spend $5 or $10 per throw. Oh, but I will say one thing about the Hard Rock's ante. They only charge the dollar ante if you won on the last come out or if there was an actual point established, whether you won or lost. So if you lost on the last come out roll,
and he got cut off there, but I think you could tell where he was going with it.
Right.
Probably a craps on the come out roll. You don't have to pay the ante again for the come out roll.
Right,
so.
You paid it already.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, these antes, they don't go into some pool. This is how the casino makes their money at table games. That is their money. The ante goes directly to the casino, and supposedly these player pools are what actually fund the game. So they're not covering the ante for you. They're just not charging it. They're not charging anything. Now, they do get a cut of the players' pool, the same amount that they give the state. And again, I'm not accusing Oklahoma casinos of doing anything, but some clever accounting, probably they can make some money from those table games in other ways as well. Plus, they're making money on all their machines.
Right.
So
the machines are where they make most of their money.
It's kind of a competitive thing. If you can get people into your casino saying, hey, there's no ante. And I even posted something from one of the casinos that doesn't have an ante on any of their tables ever. So,
right.
It's up to them. That supposedly is how they make their money at the table games.
Right.
All right. Next up is Julia.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Julia from Washington with a tiny trip report from my Memorial Day weekend trip to Las Vegas. I was lucky enough to get to meet up with you guys at Ellis Island, and I just have to say that was a real thrill to get to play craps with Mark and Dr. Mike right there. The tips from Dr. Mike were terrifying, but I did what he told me to do, and your tips were wonderful as well, and I found myself using them during the rest of my stay in Las Vegas. I hope I didn't fangirl too much on you guys, but it was just a delight to get to meet you in person. I did get to use, as I said, those tips next morning at New York, where I was playing at a $5 table, and I was placing odds bets and place bets and combats, and I felt like I was really getting the hang of the game and could actually have a good time. I ended up playing for about an hour and a half, and it was just so much fun. Anyway, as I said, so awesome to meet you guys, and as always, keep it up and keep us laughing. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Nice to meet you too, Julia. Yeah, it was. Nice. I'm glad that she had fun and she was able to then go off.
We didn't know if she won though at New York, New York.
Oh yeah, it said it was a lot of fun. She didn't say she won. She didn't say she won. As long as it was fun.
Yeah, that's true. And if she lost, hopefully it wasn't much.
Hopefully not too much. Yeah. But I think we have another convert.
I don't know if we should put it that way.
Well, I know it's. I tend to want to apologize to people when we teach them
sorry
craps.
For that.
Yep. All right, Jana is up next.
Hey guys, it's Jana from Houston. I just wanted to call in and thank you for the information you had given me on learning to play poker. I know this is something that is not going to happen overnight, but I do appreciate your tips. And I also wanted to make a quick statement. I hope you guys know just how lucky you are to have somebody that you can talk to or enjoy your love or your passion of craps with. My husband indulges me, and he just doesn't get it exactly, but he indulges me, and I appreciate that. But I don't have anybody that I can really chat with or talk to about the game, and I really miss having that. But I just want y'all to know y'all are two very, very lucky people that you are so close and you enjoy each other's company and you love talking about the same thing. That's really all I had to say, but I just wanted to say thanks and to let you know that you guys are super lucky. Y'all have a great time playing craps, and talk to you later. Thanks.
Yes, we know how lucky we are. Yeah, we do not take it for granted. We definitely know.
I was just saying that to Jeremy last night on the table, how lucky we both are.
We have a common interest. We've been able to do this podcast. Right. We've got wives who understand,
right.
our hobby.
That's the biggest part.
That's a big part too. Jana, I'll tell you, you need to come out to one of these events, like maybe the summit in October. It sounded like Jana was going to try to come out for the summit, because you will meet a lot of like-minded people. And you'll be able to talk about this stuff. I know that if you're a craps table, you're probably with people who love to play craps. But this is quite something when you're in this setting where people have come out specifically to meet other people.
Right. And it's not just craps. There's video poker, and they're playing, Asian games and blackjack.
And Vegas in general. And what you might want to do too, you were talking about how you listen to Vito now. Take a listen to 500 by Midnight, because that's the podcast that the summit is built around. That's why everybody goes out there. It's a Vegas-based podcast. They talk about gambling a little bit, but really it's mostly Vegas. And that is the catalyst for the summit. And come out and meet some people. Yeah.
Yep, that's the thing to do.
All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jason from Texas. I have been a long-time listener, first-time caller. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I usually go up to Oklahoma or over to Shreveport. But I just took a new job starting in August, and I'm going to be in upstate New York. I have no idea what the gambling situation is like in that area. I have no clue as to what's a good place to go. I have no clue as to what's even available. So any advice, tips, recommendations that you or any of the listeners have would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, and have a good time.
Yeah, upstate New York, we don't know. We got to throw that out to the listeners, because in New York casinos, there are a lot of them that aren't full-blown casinos, meaning maybe they don't have table games, or maybe some of their video poker are really video lottery terminals.
Right. It's like Montana.
Yeah.
Like
so
what I encountered in Montana.
If anybody has any advice for Jason about, he didn't say specifically where in upstate New York, but if anybody's got some suggestions on casinos in that area, let us know.
All right. Our New York listeners, and I know there's lots of them, can call in and let us know about that.
Yes. Or email, however you want to contact us. Yeah,
right. Or anyone who's been up to like Niagara Falls. And
see, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's really a Canadian casino that he should be going to. I don't know.
Across the border.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Next up is Brooks.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Brooks here from Colorado. Just thought I'd call finally, let you guys know a little trip I went on up to Blackhawk this weekend. The Color Up YouTube channel was doing a meet and greet at the Saratoga Casino, so I thought I'd make my way up there. Got to meet him. Great guy. Good group of people around the table. We start rolling. I'm not doing great, but after a while, everyone starts leaving, and it's down to me, one other guy. I'm down probably like 140 at this point, and I'm like, all right, it's like my last maybe 2 throws. Dice come to me. I bet all tall small because I'm into that. And as I get rolling, I'm 2 points away, and the guy next to me bets the horn bet for $25, and I rolled boxcars 3 times in a row. So I think I made the guy beside me like $600 on just those 3 rolls. Then I think I needed the 6. I hit the 6, which gave me the small, and then like the very next roll hit the 11 or something I was missing, hit it all, and ended up walking away up like $200. Just thought it was a great time, and if anyone gets up to Saratoga, the staff up there is great, and I just thought I'd let you guys know. See you around.
Good, thanks, Brooks.
Great.
Yeah,
I love that all tall. Small.
Yeah, I'm not a side bet better, but I know how exciting it is when
it's
they
very
hit.
exciting. It's especially exciting when you just have one number.
Yeah, and you know what it is.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, all you need is,
your breath.
especially if it's one of the easier numbers to roll, like a 6 or an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always this. It's always one dice lands and it's like a 4, and you're thinking, come on, 2, be a 6, and then it's like a 6. It's like
you mean the other die is a 6?
The other die.
Why
is
would
6.
you have picked the number 6 for the other die when 6 is what needs to be rolled?
Because 10 came to my head. I don't know why.
Okay, so a 4 is on the first die, and you're hoping for a 2, but instead a 6 comes on that second die for a total of 10.
Right.
Okay.
I think it was pretty clear.
Yeah. Now it is.
Yeah.
All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nick from Vermont calling again. I've actually started gambling more recently. I started gambling based on the March Madness tournament. My brother convinced me. I'm not a big sports guy, but he convinced me to join his tournament, which was for $1,000. And I know you guys talked about it in the past about doing survivor pools. This was my first time doing a survivor pool ever. I know you guys talked about doing survivor pools for football, but I was just curious if you guys ever did a survivor pool for March Madness. So I ended up tying for the win for that one, so I ended up getting 500, and ever since then I've been on a gambling spree going every 2 weeks. Most recently we went to New York, Akwesasne Mohawk Casino. I figured Dr. Mike would also like that name, Akwesasne. I think it's pronounced Akwesasne. It's a pretty nice casino. Dealers are good. There was a story where a guy put his money on the don't pass. It was one of those receipts where you could just put it down for, it was like $50 a free play. And he was playing the pass line, but then decided to put don't pass, and it was an immediate 7. And he was like, I never play the don't pass. And then the dealers and the boxman and the pit boss actually gave him the payout, even though he put it on the don't pass and the 7 came out. Since he complained a little bit and said that he never played the don't pass, they gave it to him. Definitely a small casino, a lot of smoking. So if you're not a fan of smoking or have somebody with you who does not do well with smoke, I would not recommend the casino. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to hit up Springfield at some point. And Mohegan and Foxwoods in 2 weeks. We'll hopefully give you a report. And my goal is to reach $1,000 by the end of the month. And I'm hopeful that I can do that because I'm only 80 away. Love the show. Almost caught up. I think I'm like 5 episodes away from being fully caught up. But just love the show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Nick.
Yes.
Well, a March Madness survivor pool. Now, when you're doing a survivor pool in football, one of the rules is you can't pick the same team twice.
Right.
So, if in the first week you pick the Patriots, you can't pick them the whole rest of the year. Well, with March Madness, teams are eliminated each week. So you could potentially be, in the Final Four and you have no teams to pick from anymore.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out how that works.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, obviously we've never done one. So
no, he'd have to call back and explain that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be a fun thing to do.
That would be good. Yeah.
Well, let's think about that. Let's see if we can figure out a survivor pool.
And plus, the thing about a survivor football pool is, people make their picks only once a week, so it's pretty easy to organize.
Right.
You'd have to be pretty on the ball, or all the participants would have to be on the ball to give you their picks.
Right. You might have to pick one day and the next day.
Yeah. Something to think about. All right. Next up is Ethan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, it's Ethan from Virginia. It's been a while since I've called in because it's not really fun reporting on a year's worth of mostly lousy gambling. However, I was out in Vegas at the end of April, beginning of May, for a work conference and then had some friends fly out to meet me to finish out the week. Yes, 7 days in Vegas is way too many. By Sunday, I couldn't have been more ready to board my 7 a.m. flight. But a few cool things happened. Some of my coworkers wanted to learn how to play craps. We were staying at Treasure Island. They had a $15 craps table open that was empty. I walked up and asked if this was their only table. They said yes and asked why. I explained that I had 2 new people who had never played and that I was going to teach them, but we aren't willing to play 15s. They said, "Are you willing to play a $10 table?" And they ultimately let us play $10 at our end of the table, which I thought was pretty nice. The gambling didn't go all that well. One of my coworkers rolled 3 hard sixes in a row. I had a two-way bet that I parlayed to $10, and I collected the 90 on it twice. Hindsight being 2020, I should have done the Dr. Mike and gone for the 900, but things were going so poorly, I just wanted to rack the 90 to survive another shooter so that I could keep teaching. But if I had parlayed it up to 100, would have been able to collect that 900. We had a very patient, great dealer. At one point, my coworker Lexi was chasing and had a $12 6 and said, move it to the 8. And the dealer said, no, I'm going to leave it. She said, but if it hits an 8, you owe me. And he said, if it hits 6, you owe me. Sure enough, an 8 hit, and she was right. And they still paid it, even though her money was on the 6. Something tells me they would have paid her on the 6 too. I think we all ended up busting out, so the casino won in the end. But at least they did the right thing and paid her without making a fuss.
That's pretty cool.
And also letting us play $10 because they weren't making any money at an empty $15 table. My coworkers left on Thursday, and my friends ended up coming in to join me that same night. My friend Todd had never been to Las Vegas before, so I was showing him around. We gambled a ton. To slow things down a little bit, we did the Flamingo Daily Poker Tournament. I went out number 5, and Todd went out number 4. Was pretty sad that we missed cashing on that. They paid out the top 3, but we went card dead, and bluffing ended up not working out for us. Late Friday night, things started to turn around a little bit, but by Saturday they were back to normal, and ultimately took a pretty big L on the week. This is my 10th Vegas trip, and I am still chasing a winning trip. I broke even once, but have never gotten anywhere close to winning / covering my trip costs. But maybe one day.
Gosh, I hope so. Yeah, that's
coming.
too bad.
It's coming. He's going to hit a streak where he goes like 5 trips in a row and wins.
Isn't that good customer service? That whole 6 and 8 story.
Yeah, that's
especially for a new player, and it's so
great.
easy to do. I could see some casinos just freaking out.
Right. Well, and the bottom line is he made the right call there. They got all their money in the end anyway, right? But they had fun and they felt good about that. It's a good story.
Yeah, good story.
I wonder how many people enter that poker tournament.
Yeah, I don't know.
They only pay 3 places.
It must not be that many. Maybe just a couple tables or something. Yeah,
maybe it's like
2 or 3 tables. Yeah,
like 15, 20 people or something. I mean, if you
I would think so if you're only paying 3. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, next call.
Hi, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Landry from Orlando. Short-time listener, second-time calling. I have 2 comments with regards to your podcast, and hopefully they're relevant since I'm a couple weeks behind. The one is regards to the betting and selecting the opposite of what you would normally pick. I tried that this past football season, and it actually worked fine for the first week or 2, but by the 3rd week, my mind started playing games. And I had no idea if I was picking the team I would want to win or thought would win or the one that's going to lose. This year, I'm going to try something different, which is to pick my normal picks, roll some dice. If the total number comes up even, I will go ahead and play all the teams I selected. If the number total is odd, I will then select all the opposites. That would be the definitive way to ensure that I'm
smart gambling. Yep.
Consistent teams. The other comment is for the gentleman who called in and getting slack for throwing the dice. He said he had some long arms, and they're telling him he needed to be back. I ran into a similar issue and always getting slack from the dealers. I'm in part of the long arm club, and found out that as soon as you get the dice, when you get to a game, is throw $6 on the table, say $3 two-way, and usually once you start making bets for the dealers, they tend to leave you alone. In fact, I'm a low roller, but I always have some sort of action out there for the dealers, and they become very happy, and you'll find that they no longer hassle you. In fact, they start chumming up to you and being your buddy, and I have them sometimes even tell me, hey, let me step back for you so you have plenty of room to toss. So you'll be surprised how much their attitude changes by just toking them just ever so bit. Anyway, I really enjoying the podcast. Keep it up. I will be in Vegas the weekend of August 16th, just in case you guys have nothing to do and plan to head out there. Talk to you later. Keep up good work with the podcast.
All right. Good luck on your trip. Yeah.
I hate it that long arm people are bullied.
Yeah, it's they're discriminated against.
Discriminated against.
Yep. That's the new movement.
Yeah, well, actually, they have long arms. They should reach out and swat the guy who.
Yeah, he's got the length on him. The guy can't swat him back.
Yeah,
just hold his head.
Put one
right
hand on your forehead,
yeah.
and then whack him with the other one. There you go.
Good advice from Dr. Mike, as always.
Well, you know what? It's true. You should always tip anyway.
Oh, of course.
And not just
there's so many good reasons to do it. This is a kind of a selfish reason because they'll treat you well. And you can.
Right, and it's not just at the craps table or in gambling. It's in life in general.
Yep.
Right. Tip your waitress. You'll get good service. You'll get better food. Tip the bathroom attendant in the bathroom. Hopefully, you won't slip on all the urine below the urinal.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It pays to tip.
Yeah.
And people are happy, and that's what makes the world go round.
Yep. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Big Gay K from Seabus, Ohio. Kind of a trip report, and also I had a question about free play and whatnot. Listen to you guys all the time. Love y'all. So I went to go see Sarah McLachlan because, that's what my people do. We were at the Wynn, and I was imbibing a little bit. Then decided to walk out and play a little bit of that, not George of the Jungle, but, the slot machine where it's like dollar increments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Lord of the Jungle, something or other. So then started getting some drinks, and then I started playing $2. I actually went and got $250 off of my credit card, which I've never done before because I wasn't planning on even gambling. So I basically played that one machine for an hour and a half, continually hitting the button because, I got like drinks, and then I learned, hey, you can get a Bud Light and a Fireball or whatever else you want. So I was pretty schlockered, and that's all right. So I come home, I get an email that says, hey, we'd like you to come stay here for 3 nights. You get 2 buffets a night, and we're going to give you a $300 free credit. So my question is what do they expect out of this if I go there and don't play that? I've never played there before. I mean, I played there before. I did have a card, but I always played like $20 there just to take my friends there and everything to see what it was like. So I didn't know, can they come back and say, hey, you didn't, you only played $100. We want our money back. Question number 1. My other question real quick is that I'm a Caesar Rewards, Total Rewards member for 8 or 9 years. I'm a low player, so I play between $300 to $800, and I go to Vegas frequently, just as really cheap, and I've got plenty of time to do this in Atlantic City, but I get free rooms for forever. I mean, even Saturdays are $20 a room at Caesars and whatnot. My brothers and I come out twice a year, and my brother immediately hit diamond status. He plays a lot more than I do, but I get better offers than he does, and I didn't know if that's a thing or a reason why. I love the show. I love hearing about Eric's stuff. I just started listening to Better Life. I like Julian and Eric, and I think Julian's wife is Janice. I think so, but I'm not really sure. Maybe her name's Janice. And I think Cousin Vito, I listen to his. Some do for a win stuff. But yeah, it's great. I hope that I get to meet you guys sometime. I'm always there. Obviously, you don't have to play this, but I just want to give you 2 a shout out that I think you guys are doing great stuff. So, yeah. It's Pride Weekend in Columbus, so, I may be a little inebriated right now. What can you do, buddy? Anyway, y'all take care, and hope y'all win soon. Hope to see you all soon. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Kate. I love when somebody's trying to think of somebody's name, and it's not even close. Julian's wife's name is Kelly. It's not Janice. It's not even close.
Well, that's me. You're talking about me all the time. To answer his first question about the comms.
I think they're kind of related, but go ahead. Yeah.
They don't expect anything from you.
No. I mean,
they expect something if you want to continue to get more comms.
No, I think, and you would need to look at the fine print on this. He got this from Wynn. Okay. It's very possible an offer like this at the bottom might say, if you do not meet, a certain amount of play, you'll have to pay for the room.
Right. It is possible.
You see that sometimes. So I would say in this case,
but a lot of times you don't. A lot of times it's like, we'll give you a room. They know you're going to gamble.
Yeah, but this is a case where he said he didn't play there that much. He did have a card.
Right.
And obviously the reason he's getting this offer is because of how hard he hit that slot.
Right.
And that goes to ADT, average daily theoretical, right? He was playing a slot, which probably had a pretty big house edge, was playing a lot. He said he was hammering that button as fast as he could, and he was playing $2 increments. So that's why he got the offer. I would say...
Well,
I would caution him. I would definitely caution him.
Yeah, read the fine print. Yeah. But a lot of times, I mean, well, like with us, you know, if I went and I didn't feel well, I had a cold and didn't play, they would still.
Yeah, but you're thinking of Caesar's property.
Yeah.
Right? If it was a Caesar's property, both of us could get away with that.
Win might be different.
Yeah, because we never play there. But I'm sure you still get offers from Win. I do too,
I get
right?
stuff all the time.
But we haven't played there in a long time. So if we got some kind of room offer and gave them no play, I bet they'd charge us.
You think so? Okay, the next one I get, I'm going to look.
Okay.
Because I get them like every month.
I do too. Yeah, they're actual mailers that come in. Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to look and see if there's any fine print in there.
And I think his second question is similar to, he's asking why he gets all these offers and his brother doesn't. It could be ADT.
Yeah, ADT or frequency. He said he goes a lot. Maybe his brother doesn't go as much.
Yeah.
So frequency has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about it, but certainly on other podcasts, they've talked about how sometimes your tier status alone does not dictate the comps that you get. It's also based on ADT. Right. So you could be a diamond. Maybe you're a diamond status because you got the founder's card. Right. And so, but you're not really giving them much play. So you may not get as many comps. Right.
So, or you could be one of those people that's at the casino every single day. And you just slowly build up to diamond status.
Yeah.
Even though you're not really putting that much out there on a daily basis.
Yes, right. So. Yeah. Yep. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Wanted to give a quick trip report and share some good news. Had my first ever winning session of craps this past weekend. I've been going to casinos for about 15 years now, but never touched craps until maybe 10 months ago after watching some of the videos that the Wizard had put up on his YouTube channel about how to play craps and what to do. I've played a handful of times since then, but all of them had been losing sessions until yesterday. I was at Bally's Wild Wild West, which suits me as a low roller, $5 minimum, 10 times odds. I snuck in at the one open spot at the table, bought in for $400, and then just religiously stuck to $5 pass line bets and $50 odds. The table was packed. There was a tremendous amount of center action, which I observed but obviously didn't partake in.
Good.
But atmosphere was upbeat and friendly. Played for a couple hours, cashed out for about $800, so doubled my money and walked away happy. So great trip, fun environment, and hopefully this is a new start in my craps playing life. Thanks very much for your show. Love listening to you guys, and take care. Bye.
Yeah, good. Congrats. It's always nice to have your first win. Yeah. Usually people who keep playing, won the first time. That's why they continue to play.
Right, yeah.
So glad you stuck with it.
Kudos to him that he stuck with it, because most people, I've lost 4 times in a row. That's enough of craps.
That's right. All right, next up is Brendan.
Hey, guys, this is Brendan from Cleveland, Ohio. Go Browns. I wanted to call in today. First-time caller and actually first-time listener. I was on my way to work this morning searching for a Las Vegas podcast to get excited about my upcoming trip. Ran upon your guys' podcast and listened to the most recent episode, and I loved it. I'm 22 years young. My girlfriend and I love Vegas. We love gambling. We love playing craps, blackjack. We love learning about the game. And most importantly, we like to save our money and go out to Vegas and have a good time out there. But I wanted to share a funny story. So went out to Vegas for the second time ever. I hit a ton of the nines when I was on the craps table, and I had no idea what the repeater bet was. All I've ever seen was the all tall, all small, and the fire bet. So the dealer was nice enough to say, hey, just toss me $5. I asked him what it was for, and he's like, I'm just going to put it right here. You don't do a thing, just keep hitting your nines. So eventually, I kept hitting so many nines, I ended up forgetting about it. He looked over at me and had his finger up with just one more. And I looked at him confused because I had forgotten about my $5, and he said, you need one more 9. I said, all right, so all I got to do is just hit one more 9. I set the dice to 9, rolled it, I hit. His mouth dropped and said that it was the first time he's actually ever paid out a 9 on a repeated bet. So was pretty happy about that. But I enjoyed the podcast. Thanks, guys. Definitely my new podcast go-to. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, congrats. First time the dealer's ever paid out a repeater bet on a 9?
It must have been his first day.
Yeah, or nobody at that casino bets the repeater.
Yeah, really. Right. That does hit fairly often.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking, Brendan, I'll get $5 from him because these repeaters never hit. Glad it worked out well.
Hit. What about the Browns this year?
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, every year. They should be pretty decent.
Okay.
I mean, what can we say? We had the Chargers.
We had the Chargers, and I don't follow it.
You don't follow football
I really don't. I watch football, but I don't follow it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Especially during the off season.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you watch football for the gambling aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can just, lie down and eat some chips. And
I'm a diehard Charger fan to the death.
Yeah,
to the death.
We know. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Mike D. from New York City. Just calling because I'm going to be going on my not first Vegas trip, but my first adult Vegas trip. Last time I went was about 22 years ago. I was 14 years old. My parents took me, and needless to say, I'm ready for the real experience. An idea that I came up with in my head that I thought I would try when I go out there is I'm going to try and do a table crawl, I guess I would call it. So basically just try and hit as many craps tables as I can. Buy in small. I'm not a very big high roller. Don't have a huge stack. So $5 and $10 tables. Maybe $50 at 5 tables, and $100 at 10 tables, and just kind of see where it takes me. So I wanted to ask you guys, for someone who's never gambled in Vegas and has only played craps once, but it's okay and somewhat familiar with the rules. What would you guys recommend as far as must-stop-at tables, both downtown and on the Strip? Thanks for the show, big fan, and I'll let you guys know how it goes after my trip. That'll be first week in July.
All right, well, good luck. And yeah, we love the idea of the table crawl.
Yeah,
we
downtown,
talked about it before.
Just go to
everyone.
one.
I was thinking the same thing. They're so close. Yeah.
They're so close. Just go to every single casino downtown.
Yeah,
There's really
agree.
not a bad one. And then on the Strip, start at Center Strip.
Start at Center Strip and maybe hit some of the less expensive joints so that you're not at a $25 table. Harrah's, the Link, that whole side of the street.
That whole side of the street.
Yeah, but then maybe work your way down to Excalibur in New York. There's nothing special really about any of these tables. We talk about places we like to play, but we can't say, you absolutely have to go to the craps table here because you never know. It depends on the crew.
Yeah, go to New York, ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Ride the VR with the VR thing.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I want to do that too. Yeah.
That's going to be one of our bucket list things.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
No.
Mike, you want to do the roller coaster? I'm in the middle of a hand.
Yeah,
right,
I'm down. Mike, you want to ride the roller? No, I'm up. I want to keep playing.
All right, got another call from Ethan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Ethan from Virginia again. I wanted to call in and tell you all a little bit about another trip that I took. I recently made my first trip into Europe. And among other things, I went to the Monaco Grand Prix Formula One race, and of course gambled at the Monte Carlo Casino. It cost €17 to get in, but they gave you a €10 voucher for free slot play. Free table play, €10 off your first cocktail, or $30 off your bill at the restaurant there, if I remember correctly. So pretty good value overall. Ended up really only costing €7 to get in versus 17. The only craps table they had was rolling at a €25. I guess that's one thing about the Monte Carlo Casino is overall there's very few tables in there, and it's pretty small from a casino standpoint, but it's a pretty big space and obviously very luxurious. But yeah, they only had one craps table rolling at €25. If you wanted to shoot, you had to play the pass line the whole time. We were there on Saturday night from 6 to 10 p.m. before the race on Sunday. They only had half the table open, but there were very few people playing craps, so it wasn't hard getting on. Overall, it was pretty chilly. The game moved pretty slowly. There seemed to be a lot of confusion and a little argument in French, so I couldn't really understand what was going on. So the craps wasn't all that great, and because it wasn't going very well, I didn't have a problem kind of picking up my chips and moving on. Blackjack and roulette are a much bigger deal in Monaco, apparently. I threw €50 on red just to say that I did it for the old Monte Carlo fallacy. It did hit red, so that was nice, and I'm glad that I can say that I'm up for roulette in my life. There was also kind of a funny thing that was happening over at the blackjack table. There was a group of about 7 girls who were buying in for €25, sitting down at third base, playing one hand each, win, lose, or draw. They would stand up and their next friend would sit down, and they kind of rotated all 7 girls through. I thought it was kind of an interesting strategy. Had I been them, I probably would have just pooled my money with my friends. Each sat down, got to say that we played a hand, but then kind of split the wins and losses between my 7 friends versus just individually playing one hand at basically a coin flip. Beyond playing at the Monte Carlo casino, I did play at a casino in Ireland. Also, it was so small, I could barely call it a casino. They only had 1 roulette wheel and 1 blackjack table, but it was €5 hand blackjack. They had a very quick and professional dealer. He had worked on cruise lines and was very friendly. One weird thing happened there that, at least that I thought was weird. The dealer doesn't deal a down card for himself, so therefore the dealer can't check to see if he has a 21. He did have an ace up, and I had an 11. Normally, I don't double an 11 against the dealer ace, but I was feeling like gambling, so I did. I ended up getting a 10, so I had a 21, and then the dealer hit his ace and got a 10 as well for a natural 21, which I was informed that a natural 21 beats my 21, and I lost my original bet as well as my double down. Had I known that I could have lost like that, I probably wouldn't have doubled. In America, you wouldn't have been able to make the double down because you would have lost after declining the insurance when the dealer flipped over the 21. But I guess that's my fault for playing with imperfect information, not understanding the rules there, and that a natural 21 would beat my hit to double down 21. Either way, I managed to battle through 3 shoes and ended up doubling my money. So got pretty lucky there at the end. Also, just kind of a traveling note in general, the exchange rate was only 10 cents worth of tax. So if you figure $1.10 per euro, that is not too terrible. I know it's been up to $1.17, $1.20 or more per euro. So traveling to Europe right now is actually not too bad on the exchange rate bit. Hopefully my luck can turn around this summer. I think I have at least one more Vegas trip planned this year, and hopefully I'll have some better and more exciting stories to report on. Thanks for all that you do, and good luck on the tables.
Good. Thanks for the report, Ethan. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Monaco. That is kind of lame.
The blackjack rules?
Yeah, the blackjack rules.
I think we've actually talked about this before, Mike,
okay.
But this is pretty good. Now, he was talking about the Ireland casino, but this is very common in all of Europe.
Right.
European blackjack. The dealer does not take a down card.
Right.
So
I understand that, but they shouldn't take your double down.
See, that's the thing, is since they don't take a down card, all of your action happens before he gets that second card. That includes double downs. That includes splitting.
Right.
So if the dealer ends up with a blackjack after all that, you lose everything. Yep.
Wow.
And it's something you need to watch out for. In fact,
is that worse than 6-5 blackjack?
No.
You don't think so?
It's not, because you change your basic strategy. Right. There are times when you don't. Obviously, if the dealer's showing an up card of an 8 or a 6, right? It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
It's only when it's a face card 10 or an ace.
Yeah. So you had 11 and then the up card's a 10, you wouldn't double down.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that basic strategy, because maybe you do, maybe you don't in that situation. But the bottom line is basic strategy does change. And in fact, on a recent episode, we were talking about how there was a stadium blackjack game where the dealer didn't take a down card.
Right.
And we said that basic strategy probably wouldn't change much in that game. It was unclear whether that was the case at this stadium blackjack game, where you would lose all your double down and split money too.
Right.
I would hope not.
I would hope
in America.
not in America.
But yeah, that is just definitely something you need to watch out for.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. I had no clue about that.
Yeah.
I was surprised when he said it.
All right. Next up is Frank.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Frank from St. Louis. I'd like to tell you about a recent trip I took to Christchurch, New Zealand. I went to the casino in there. It was a very small casino, something you'd see maybe outside of Las Vegas. They had 2 blackjack tables, 1 roulette wheel, and 1 Caribbean stud, and a couple floors of slot machines, no video poker. The table limits were $5 at the blackjack, which is about $3.50 US, so I thought I'd give it a try for a couple times. Their blackjack used a constant shuffling machine. Dealer doesn't have a whole card until all the players have made a decision. He pushes on 22. The good part, I guess, for the player is any 5 cards is an automatic winner, no matter what the dealer ends up with. If you get 21, it's an automatic winner, no matter what the dealer ends up with. There's no tipping. I tried to tip the dealer, and he said, nope, we don't take tips here. And they have 1 side bet Any pair paid 11 to 1. I think 12 to 1 is the correct odds. Looking at the Wizard of Oz, I think pushing on 22 causes this game to be somewhere in the negative 4% range on the odds. Went there a couple times, won the first time, lost the second time, and they end up losing $50 on the trip. Another story, my wife and I went to the casino earlier this year. It was her second time ever playing video poker. She hit a royal flush. She had a quarter in, so she ended up getting $62.50. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've been playing video poker for 25 years, never hit one, but that's my story. Great show. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. If you don't play Max Coin and you get a royal flush, you get paid $250 for one.
Yeah.
Instead of the $4,000 for one that you'll get if you play Max Coin. Yeah. Right. So $62.50. That's what, and it would have been $1,000 if she'd been playing.
That's a big difference.
5 quarters, so $1.25 each time. Yeah. And there you go, the blackjack talking about that. Although I don't know, I meant to look this up before we recorded and I forgot, but that doesn't sound like just the blackjack rules for New Zealand.
Right.
Sounds like maybe a variation of blackjack, like a free bet blackjack game or something, because 22 is a push?
Yeah, 22 is a push. 5 cards is an automatic win.
Yeah.
And if you get 21, you automatically win no matter what the dealer gets?
Yeah, I don't think
I mean, how could that be? Because you could hit to 21. You could have a 16, get a 5, and you win, and he turns, because he said his whole card's not dealt till the end.
Yeah.
So if he had a 10 up and he turns over an ace, he's got 21 natural.
Yeah, but
you would still win?
I mean, it makes sense if you're pushing on a 22 bust, right? That's a huge edge for the house. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, so I would say maybe that's not the standard blackjack game, but I forgot to look into it, so I'll check later. But
well, that was in New Zealand.
New Zealand, correct? Yeah.
So who knows what goes on down under?
Yeah. Well, did you ever get to New Zealand? You were in Australia for the longest time. But
no, my parents have been in New Zealand and Tasmania.
Okay,
and they're beautiful countries. They say, but I never went.
You never went. Okay,
that's where the next meetup will be for.
Oh, New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Gamblepalooza 2020. New Zealand. NZ.
Christchurch, New Zealand.
All right. Next up is Ben.
Hi guys, this is Ben from North Carolina. Once again, the land of very limited gambling. Anyway, my wife and I, we're from Charlotte. We got about a 3-hour drive to the Cherokee Casino. And I remember a lot of episodes ago, someone mentioned that they just felt like no one was winning when they were there. Well, I guess we just got lucky because we actually had a great craps session. We found a $10 table, which is about as cheap as they get on a Saturday when we went. I bought in for about $140, not a whole lot. I didn't plan to play that much. My wife bought in for, I think, $200. And we ended up leaving with over $1,000 between the two of us. I was playing a 3-point Molly with 1 times odds, and she was playing just the pass line with single times odds. Maybe once or twice she went up to double just because she could. She went on a monster roll, and I think she probably hit 5 or 6 points. And so for me, I just kept raking it in whenever that she would do an off and on for me. I mean, I guess it's proof that it's possible to win over there, but you know how luck goes. Hopefully it transferred to a few other folks after we left because we just colored up and passed out. So good luck to everyone else. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
It kind of sounds like when your dad's complaining about Barona. Oh, yeah, you can't win at 3-card poker there. What? It's the same game, right? Now, slots I could understand. They could have the slots set, looser or tighter, different payouts. When it comes to table games,
there's underhanded stuff going on all
the
time, Mark.
Even at the craps table?
Even at the craps. Underhanded stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they're shuffling those cards. You don't notice because you're on your phone, but they're doing stuff.
We'll point it out next time we're out there. I'd like to see that.
You look underneath that table, it's like a computer keyboard.
Really?
Yeah, they're pressing buttons and stuff.
All right, well,
dice are turning over.
Maybe
magnets are engaged.
Maybe
it's
our next
crazy.
episode will be an expose then. I look forward to that.
Turns out it's all true. I thought Mike was being an idiot. It's true.
Nope. That's our final episode. All right, let's hear from our good friend Marty.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Marty from Northern California, now relocated to Reno. Hey, so I've been spending quite a bit of time, at least once a weekend, at a different casino. So I think if you guys remember when I first got out here, spending most of my time at the Row, which is Silver Legacy, and the El Dorado. Love the crews there. They're great. They just recently built a new outdoor amphitheater at a place called the Nugget down in Sparks, Nevada. So I've been playing there quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. They've got 3 dice tables. Normally only 2 of them are open on Friday and Saturday night. But one of the things that I like is they still have the fire bet, and they pay on 3, 4, 5, or 6 numbers on the fire. And one of the things I've noticed is, boy, 3 numbers come up a whole lot more times than 4 numbers do. So almost every night that I've been there, I've hit at least a couple of 3-ways on the fire bet. The downside to this is it pays off quite a bit less, whereas paying 6 to 1 on the 3, 29 to 1 on the 4, 150 to 1 on the 5, and 299 to 1 on the 6. So again, big difference there where normally you'd see 1,000 to 1 on the 6 bet. But the other nice thing is they don't limit you at $5. So it's a $25 limit, so you can actually bet more on the fire, and if a 6 does happen to hit, still come out of it in pretty good shape. So anyway, love it. It's called the Nugget. Just recently remodeled. It's beautiful inside. 3 different showrooms, so lots of live entertainment there. If you guys ever get to Reno, give me a shout. I'd like to play with you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
I love fire bets that pay on 3 numbers.
Yeah, it hits more.
I wish they were all like that. It hits so much more. I'm surprised more of them aren't like that.
Makes it more exciting.
Yeah, and you hit the 6 numbers so infrequently. And actually, one nice thing about only the 299 to 1 payout, no W2G.
Right.
Because it's under that 300 to 1 payout. So you'd think a casino would want that too. A lot less paperwork.
A lot less.
Let's see if we can push for that at Harrah's.
All right, we'll push for it. Well, my brother-in-law lives half the year in Sparks, Nevada.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
My wife's brother.
All right, well,
bought a house there. So I haven't been there. My wife and daughters have been there, but I haven't been there. But we'll definitely be there at some point.
Yeah.
So maybe we should make a trip.
Check it out.
There.
Go see the Nugget. Yeah, and finally see Marty. Finally meet Marty.
And maybe I should set Marty and my brother-in-law up. His name's Mike, by the way, too. So
set him up. What do you mean set him up?
Well, they could be at the casino at the same time and meet.
Okay.
That'd be our go-between.
Oh, all right.
We'll have a go-between.
Hi, are you Marty? Hi.
I'm Dr. Mike. He does, same name.
All right, next call.
This may seem like a very dumb question, but going to Tunica Resorts, we're going to be the last 2 days they are open. Is there anything we should be looking forward to as far as will pays, must pays, jackpot payouts, anything that would benefit us towards like AP play? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So Resorts Casino Tunica is closing on June 30th. Tunica is struggling, to keep these casinos open. At least in Nevada, if a casino closes and there are any outstanding jackpots on machines that need to be paid out, that legally have to be paid to customers.
Yeah, because money was put into it.
Sometimes they'll have a raffle, like the last day just to raffle off the jackpot, or they'll give it away some other way. Maybe that'll be the case here in Tunica. I don't know if the laws are the same, but we don't have any information. Our suggestion would be just go and ask.
Right.
And maybe some APs will be showing up anyway because they know something's going to happen. But I would just go there as early as you can and just ask around and to all the different employees. Maybe somebody will know. But we don't have any information.
Just start taking stuff. That'd be my advice.
That's the other thing too. Big chairs.
Big chairs. Get one of those ones that has Wheel of Fortune.
That's what I was thinking.
The Wheel of Fortune.
Because we saw that at Las Vegas Club, right?
Yeah.
When we got to see that tour.
God.
Oh man, we should have shipped that back home.
If I could have carried it, that thing was so damn heavy. That would have been a great chair.
We got to start driving
I would
from
have
now
eaten
on
dinner
all the time.
every night in that chair. I would have just set it at the table. Ooh, I'm in my Wheel of Fortune chair.
Your daughters would have loved that.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Thomas.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Thomas from Southeast Alabama. I want to say I absolutely love you guys' show. I found you towards the end of March, and I have raced through every episode and completely caught up. Thanks for what you guys do. I want to call with a quick trip report. The other weekend, I went to Biloxi and started the trip at the Beau Rivage. I had $180 in free play from my MLife credit card. I was able to turn that into $140. It didn't play any table games there, but I saw that minimums were $10 across the board. After cashing in that free play, I then went to the Golden Nugget, played some blackjack there, $5 table. Unfortunately, it was 6-5. Then I went to Harrah's, and that's where I was staying for the trip. Played some craps. Took a buddy from work with me. It was his first time playing craps, and on his second roll, he was able to hit the all small. I'm a low roller. I play similar to Mark, pass line with odds, 6 and 8 place bet every now and then. I did, for the fun of it, play a horn high ace deuce for $5 and was able to hit it. First time ever playing it. I may play it once or twice every time at a table going forward now. The dealers at Harrah's were great, very interactive with the table, and Harrah's, I believe, is the only casino in Biloxi that offers 100 times odds. Sunday, I went back to Golden Nugget, and they had $5 minimums Sunday morning. I was there for about 30 minutes, and they were getting ready to raise them up to $10. And then one interesting thing I saw at that table, a player came in and bought during the middle of a roll. The guy beside me had the dealer return his place bets. Once the person buying in received their chips, he put the place bets back out on the table for the dealer to put back out. Not sure what that does for him, but hey, I guess that's his way of playing. Once again, thanks for everything you guys do. Absolutely love the show. Bye.
So it sounds like there was not a roll between the time the guy bought in and he got his chips.
Yeah.
The guy just needed the bets to physically come down. He didn't just call them off.
No.
He wanted them down.
Yeah.
And then once the guy had the chips, then they go back up.
Yeah, sometimes you need to do that.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
That does kind of undo the bad karma of...
Yeah, you just need to do that. Whatever it takes. Okay. In order to create winning craps play, that's what you need to do.
All right, well, I'm doing that this weekend. We'll see if...
just all night long. God, can't he
take
just
them
call
down.
them off?
No, I want them all the way down.
All the way
Thank
down.
you.
And then...
I'm the customer.
Yeah, and then put them in your rack and kind of jumble them up. So when you got it, you got to fumble around to get the right amount to put them.
That's right. Yeah, I don't just keep them separate, right?
No,
and maybe I give them too little.
All mixed up. So, you just go out there, I need blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, they got to sort through. I'll tell you what, you'll get a great rating.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Well, I'm going to tip, so they won't mind.
They won't mind. Yeah, and buy yourself a point. Buy yourself a number. Pick something nice.
That's what I tell them. Pick out something nice for you. But no 5. All right?
I don't want the 5.
Do me a favor. All right, last call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Michael from Atlanta. I just had a Vegas trip a few weeks ago. Sadly, I arrived Tuesday night when you guys left after, I think it was 360 Vegas vacation. So that was a bummer, but I've got 4 things I'm going to run by you real quick. First, I had 4 or 5 friends with me that had never played craps and taught them all. One of them actually cashed out 6 times his bankroll on his first ever craps game, and I told him, that's the worst thing that could have happened to you, because now you're going to think you can always win, which was funny the next few nights we played. Secondly, we're basically there on a golf/gambling trip. We played out at Las Vegas Country Club and the Revere, and both were amazing courses for any listeners that play golf. If you find yourself on a chance to play one of those 2 really great courses, really fun, really good picturesque views of the Revere because you're overlooking the skyline, and then Las Vegas Country Club is like a little gem right off the strip, really cool. Third thing, never seen this before, but at Cromwell walking by, I saw a guy buy in with $25,000 in $5,000 stacks. They were really confused. Like, you sure you want to cash all this in? He was like, absolutely. I saw, I guess, the manager at the time walk down and, shake his hand and talk to him. And he was betting, I think, $500 on the line with $5,000 behind it. Never really seen anybody bet that high of stakes. And then, placing like $6,000, I think, on the 6 and 8. So that was pretty cool. Lastly, your newest episode, I think a guy called in about Harrah's in New Orleans, and you guys mentioned that Biloxi, New Orleans could be a good trip. I completely agree. Being from the South, I frequent Biloxi. Actually, I will be there next week. Biloxi, 8 or 9 casinos, I think. They're, all within a 5 or 6 minute drive from each other. They're all super chill. You're going to notice that the dealers are way more relaxed, willing to talk to you. Just really cool people around there. I guess that's the Southern hospitality. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update. I hope things are well. Enjoy your time. Bye.
So yeah, Biloxi, it's on the horizon. It's in our future.
Yeah, it's Gamblepalooza 2020 is either in Biloxi or Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yep. Okay. Well, put some pressure on Vito and Eric.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for New Zealand.
Well, the Encore Casino, new Encore Casino opens in Massachusetts this week, June 23rd. So good luck to anybody who's going to that. I'm sure we'll hear some reports about that.
Definitely.
Yep. And that will do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Nathan, from Brian Dancer, from Brian and Sarah, and from Joshua. Thank you so much for those recurring donations. Also, a donation from Jim and Chris from Minnesota. Karma donation for June 8th through 13th Vegas trip. Hope for that elusive VP Royal Flush. It's been almost 35 years. Yeah, that's a long time, but not as long as forever.
Yeah.
So their trip, they're actually probably back from their trip, so hopefully they had some good luck there. Also, a donation from Between Bankrolls, a karma donation for an upcoming trip to celebrate our 15th wedding anniversary. Here's to hoping that we get the courage up to play live craps this time. Please do.
Yeah.
Follow in Julia's footsteps.
There you
She's
go.
leading the way. Also, a donation from Vegas Bound 13, karma donation for a 3-night trip to Biloxi for gambling, fishing, and minor league baseball.
Nice. Hey,
Good
3
luck.
of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Not minor league, but baseball.
Baseball. You enjoy yourself at a minor league game. Have you been up here to Lake Elsinore?
Yeah, I enjoy
All right, so
it.
you prefer majors.
I prefer major. I
Okay.
enjoy any baseball,
All right,
really.
all right. Also, a donation from Steven. Karma donation sent for me and all the slots listeners of the show during upcoming trip to Vegas, July 4th through 8. Yes, there are some of us out here too. Thanks, Steven. So
I see them at the casino.
The slots? You've
Yeah,
seen
I
them
see
there?
some of those people.
Stephen was one of the Stevens that we met
Right.
on this last trip. And finally, a donation from Pat. Karma donation for an upcoming guys trip starting June 24th. Love the podcast. Thanks for all the time and effort you both put in. I'm hoping I'll get a chance to meet you both at the craps table in the future. Thanks very much, Pat. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike, I want to personally thank you and our friend Ron for getting me Comic-Con tickets.
Yes.
I was shut out this year, and I thought this was going to be the first year in a long time.
I wouldn't let you down.
You contacted Ron, who has a table. He's actually got a booth there at Comic-Con.
Right.
And this year he was able to get us Comic-Con tickets. So thank you very much for that.
Yes. My own personal sacrifice, because that means that weekend you'll be at Comic-Con and you will not go to the casino.
That is absolutely
I'll
correct.
have to go by myself,
Yep.
or I'll find some surrogate. I'll find somebody to go
All
with
right.
me. Maybe
Say proxy. Don't say
Yeah.
surrogate. All right.
Okay, proxy. I'll have my dad.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
How was your Father's Day?
Oh, it was very good. Yeah.
Good.
I actually went and watched the USA women beat Chile in. You like the way I say Chile?
Chile. We are a soccer
What a
aficionado.
pretentious jerk.
Right.
Anyway, I went
Chile.
and saw that, so we watched that good game. Yeah.
Well, I had a great Father's Day.
Okay.
My daughters, in an effort to outdo Chris at Vegas Bun Boy podcast, they made me a statue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for Father's Day.
Of yourself?
No, it was of an old lady standing on top of this gold platform, and the statue said, "World's Best Grandma."
And that's
That's
the
my
gift you-
Father's Day
That
gift.
was your Father's
That
Day
was
gift?
my Father's Day gift. They
And it-
made it themselves, World's Best Grandma.
Okay. All right.
So there you go. Right here on You Can Bet on That, World's Best Grandma. You got a statue to prove it.
All right. Well, I'm Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is the world's best grandma.
You almost said gambler. I almost had you.
And thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mike, Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.